Hi, and thanks for joining me. I guess you're single and you're wondering what hosteling is probably all about. Well, I'm going to tell you, so stay tuned. As you can see, I'm not young anymore, and being single, 2 or 3 years ago, I decided, well, I need holidays, I like meeting people, I don't want to be in a hotel, and let's try hosteling. I'd been previously to a hostel in China about 8 years ago, and it was a good experience. I really enjoyed it. You meet a lot of people, you're not by yourself, and I didn't see the point of having a luxurious hotel where lots of nice furniture and you don't meet anybody. And what I really liked about that experience in China was that I met some really lovely people, and it was a really nice community. Now I think for a lot of people, especially if you're older and you're single, maybe you lost somebody and you suddenly find yourself single, and you don't want to go on holiday by yourself, and you don't have anybody that shares your same desire to go to the places you want to go. So what do? I mean, do you book a hotel? And it doesn't have to be an expensive one. You can do that. Do you get to meet people? Yes, obviously you can. But what I did was decided that, I've got money, I don't need to go to budget places like a hostel. But I just thought, let's try it. And I tried it 2 or 3 years ago in Europe. And since then I've been traveling around Europe for 4 or 5 days in different places and been hostels. Also in New Zealand, which you'll see from my video hostel reviews, and they weren't so good except for the YHA in Queenstown. So if you're single, and if you're older in particular, you might want to know, well, what's it all about? First of all, you're going to ask, is it all dormitories? Yes, normally it is, but there often are rooms for couples. It costs a little bit more, and that's okay. So you have a choice basically. Now if you choose the right hostel, you can have a dormitory which might have 16 beds in it, or they might just have 4 beds in it. So again, the choice of the hostel is important if you're worried about being with lots of people. It could be noisy. There are many options to consider, and sometimes there are women-only ones, or they're mixed ones. And the women-only ones, obviously appeal to certain people, and maybe the women that go there feel a bit more secure. On the mixed ones, I don't think it's been a problem for the women that I've met there. They haven't really minded mixing at all. So what I normally do is I go on to either hotels.com, booking.com, hostels, .com I think it is. There's also other main ones, the main searches for accommodation websites, and I look for free cancellation. I like to look at the photographs and obviously view the reviews to see what people think of it, and if there's too many negative reviews, then I'll move on to another one probably. Obviously location is your choice as to where you want to be. From the photographs point of view of what's actually included in your bunk, sometimes on the descriptions you don't get to know exactly what you get, but from the photographs you can glean some information. And for me, the best bunk beds in a dormitory are those with a curtain, a socket to charge up, it could be USB or it could be a normal plug-in socket, and a personal light Certainly the curtain is useful if you've got the opportunity to have a curtain. It just gives you that little bit of privacy, but also if people are not considerate and they put the light on in the evening when you want to sleep, you know, that's another good reason why a curtain is good. Also, some people spend more time in a hostel. Maybe they're working and they're maybe working in the evenings and they want to sleep during the day. So again, they want to have a curtain which is very beneficial and helps them sleep basically. So the overall atmosphere in a hostel is normally very friendly. Obviously people from all over the world, many different backgrounds. There's always good facilities. Normally there's good facilities, laundry, kitchen, sometimes you get a free breakfast, common room, bike hire, trips can be organised. Sometimes there's a games area. There's many different things. It tends very much depends on the hostel of where it is and how big it is, etc. Now some can be quite old and a bit run down. Difficult to assess that when you're actually booking. But again, look at the reviews, read the reviews, and try and get that information. Sometimes, you know, if you go somewhere and it really isn't that good, you can always move on to another one. So you have that choice. The free cancellation is very useful if you've got that capability to do it on the booking, because sometimes you change your mind and you can always cancel within 24 hours or 48 hours. Things always change when you're moving around. And I think the life in the dormitory, it varies. You can have a situation where people are very considerate, or not so considerate. They can be smelly, they can maybe don't have a window or a very small window, and that's not so good either. So it's very variable. You have to be flexible as a person if you go into a dormitory in a hostel. You have to be tolerant that things might not be quite as you want them. I've been to some where they have zero tolerance of noise, and they really do make that happen, and it's really good. You don't even talk. You know, if you get up in the morning, you don't say good morning to the person upstairs up on the bunk bed or anybody else. You don't talk because people are still probably sleeping, even till 10, 11 o'clock at night in the morning. People are still probably having a sleep. So that everyone is different. I've even been to some where they've had small swimming pools, or an outside bar and some music playing, or barbecue. You know, all these things are wonderful additions to living in a hostel, and so much more fun than being in a hotel. They're just a good way to meet people. Now, meeting people, being by myself and being a talkative guy, I've often met up with people, maybe just sitting for breakfast or something, and you know, I would say, what are you doing today? Or look, I'm doing this, and they might say, can I come with you? So you end up going out with people sometimes if you want to, just sharing a day trip somewhere, and I've done that, and it's been really nice. It's just it depends on the personality that you are. You may not want to do that, and I don't want to do it all the time, but again, it's another benefit of having a holiday in a hostel. It's not just the cost. It's for me, it's the meeting people and finding out about things. You end up sometimes going out with a group of people. Sometimes I'm the oldest, or a couple of people, and you go to places that you would not have gone to because they're saying, hey, we're going here, do you want to come? Now, can you take children? Some places will let you take children. Some of the bigger ones that I've been to sometimes have a school party coming in, but that's not usual. I was in one in Peschiera in the Long Lake Garda in Italy. and it was quite a big one, and they had 2 or 3 dorms where school kids came in for like a weekend. Generally speaking, that doesn't happen. The age group is very varied. It tends to be, as anybody would know, backpackers, which is what I classify myself as, so 20, 30-year-olds, but you know, I'm 67 and I just fit in. So all in all, I would suggest that, you know, if you want to try something different, if you want to have a holiday, you don't want to do a hotel because the single supplement is sometimes very high and you'd be by yourself. So try a hostel, give it a go. You know, find the best one you can and give it a go. Even just book for 1 or 2 nights. If you don't like it, you can always move up to something better if you want to. But it's a good experience, and it doesn't suit everybody, but it certainly suits my way of life when I'm traveling. Now, these hostels are normally fitted out with good kitchens, and you look after the kitchen, there's storage for your food, and I do not cook in a hostel. I've got a little bit more money than someone who's 18, 19, 20. They're on a budget, that's why they're hosteling. I'm hosteling for different reasons, and I don't cook, but I could cook. There's lots of people who make some really good meals. In fact, some of the hostels will do a batch cook, and if you want to pay a small amount of money, you sit at the table in the evening with everybody else and you get a bottle of wine or something, and you have the meal that they cook in the hostel. That happens. So again, you don't have to cook. If you're worried about, oh my God, I've got to cook and buy food, no, you just go out and get some food. Just go to a restaurant or somewhere. Now, is it safe? I would say it is. You have to be careful. You get a locker either under the bed, or it's a freestanding locker which will have a padlock or combination lock. Normally you supply that by yourself. You have to be careful. The people in your room may be good people, but when you go for a shower, if you leave your credit cards around, someone could photograph the information, have a look at them, you know, because they know that you're going to be in a shower for 10-15 minutes. So just think about it. Keep things locked up. I've never had anything stolen. I did have my credit and debit card used some months after I came back from Italy, which was very unusual. I don't understand how that happened, but you have to be careful. So make sure that you always keep things close by. Just don't trust anybody. But generally speaking, that goes without saying when you're traveling. You know, keep your bags to the front of you. Just make sure that no one can steal anything, and especially in a dormitory where people come and go and you really don't know who they are. Generally speaking, it's pretty safe. So if you enjoy my reviews, and this one in particular, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, because once COVID restrictions are finished in England and in Europe, I will be travelling more into other hostels in the cities of Europe, and I'll also be going back to New Zealand and possibly going back into hostels there. So I'll be doing more reviews for New Zealand as well. So if you enjoyed this and you feel that hosteling could be a good way for you to get out and actually have a holiday, if you're holding back. If you're holding back and saying, I don't think I need to go by myself, I don't want to go by myself, don't worry about it. Get it booked, find the right hostel for you, and you will not be alone. You'll always be with somebody. If you're more outgoing and you're willing to chat to people, you can have a really wonderful time, and that's what I love doing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review, and have a good holiday. Thank you.